right, so let's get this started. So guys, tonight we have an amazing, super awesome guest. We got none other than the amazing, the one and only Paula Rhodes. Here we go. Let's have an amazing introduction. Here we go. Here we go.
Yay. Thank you all. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Perfect. So, let's start with the questions. So,
yeah, sure.
Paula, tell me, where did it all start for you? I mean, you are an amazing, super talented person. So, where did all this talent comes from?
Training. I wish it were all just natural. I would say I first got it in my head to be a storyteller when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And my dad would read stories to me, so many stories in voices. And that probably set the stage for me for some very colorful imagination. But I've always gravitated to wanting to tell and share stories in different forms. It seemed a little bit like a pipe dream to be an actor. When I grew up in mostly the Midwest and things around the United States, mostly Missouri. And it wasn't until I was in college and, well, it was sort of a silly story. I entered a pageant as a joke, and I am only 5 feet tall, so I'm not your typical pageant queen by any stretch of the imagination. And I ended up winning that and parlay and the national crown, and parlayed that into an internship where I started to really learn the business side of how things work here and saw that it is possible, that pretty much any path you choose is possible if you're willing to learn and put the time in. So that's what I did. I took all sorts of classes. I interned at different places to learn the business side. And now I live I started off in New York City, but I learned to drive again and come out to California because I can't sing or dance. And it's been amazing. I've been able to support myself doing what I love, and I would wish that for everybody.
Yeah. Wow. And did you want to become an actor since the beginning, or was it something you discovered along the way?
I always loved acting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I didn't think it was necessarily a feasible career.
Yeah.
They don't sell it real hard in St. Louis, Missouri, as like, or you could be this. But I was always in the school plays and things and writing books of my own fruition as a kid. So it was a natural fit to once I actually learned how the business side worked.
Wow.
I guess I've always acted in the mirror and done silly voices and, been a ham. But,
yeah.
But yeah, now here I am, and sometimes I get to do it for money. Just lovely.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And tell us about your first acting job and how it felt playing a character like for the first time.
My first acting job. Okay. Oh boy. I'm a million years old, so I have to go through the Rolodex. Okay, so that would have been in New York. Well, okay, so there were two that pretty much happened within the same couple of weeks right after I moved to New York, neither of which are terribly glamorous. But the first time I heard the words, "You booked it," were from the casting director at Mattel, and it ended up being, it did use acting skills, and I did have to audition. But it ended up being a wonderful thrival job for the next decades, and I still do it when I can because I love the family now there. But I was Polly Pocket for them. But I was for Mattel. I would help the marketing team pitch the toys during Toy Fair, and I've loved it. Mattel's been wonderful to me for years. I've done voices for them now, and I think that the actual first in-person one that I booked through an agent of varying degrees of shade. They told me it was for this Tribeca film festival thing. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was definitely a party to celebrate, like an opening night party for Tribeca. But we were hired as the models that we showed up, and their wardrobe that they gave us was lingerie. And I was like, oh goodness. Okay, this is my first thing I booked. So I put I chose the one with the bathrobe. And then I had to mingle around this bar in this lingerie and bathrobe. And I remember being super awkward. It is not my best skill at a party. I mean, I come up to people's armpits. I'm 5 feet tall. It's not great. And I started talking to a guy and his wife, and it was Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid.
Oh,
and he
wow.
saved me. Him and his wife saved me all night. And I'm like, are you okay? Do you need help? So I'm a little awkward in this situation. And we talked about babysitting all night. So I will be, because they had a little one at the time, so I will forever be grateful to them for saving me. It was only up from there, guys. I got lots of other good jobs after that. But yeah, the first couple were, they're not always what you traditionally think of.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we all have to start somehow, right? So
yeah. Nonetheless, I was thrilled to get both of those calls and
course.
actually be chosen for work. So
Of course. Wow, that's super impressive. Now, tell me, what's the thing that you enjoy the most about acting?
What do I enjoy the most about acting? Besides the camaraderie and the sort of like summer camp vibes you get from how close you can become to castmates and crew, and make these little families and tribes as you go. I would say there's a superpower almost that's granted via the power of story, where you can actually change people's hearts and minds.
Yeah.
And that is where you see society sometimes take steps towards being better, and you can actually make a difference in lives, or touch people, inspire people, encourage people.
Yeah, of course.
And that kind of magic, I mean, it's the closest thing to magic, right? Practically, it's this ability to actually move ourselves through words and through emotions. So I love that part of it.
Now, you did the facial capture for Evil Within. Now, tell us about that experience and how was it?
So it's technically called emotion capture, what I did for that game, which was wild and a really cool, weird niche part of the motion capture world, I guess. So there was already a voice recording of the actress doing that role. And then there was motion capture already recorded for the body to move, but they hadn't animated the face. And they were having a really hard time animating that. And because I have such a weird movie face, I was brought in to lip sync exactly the actress's delivery and then add all the emotion to it facially, and then they would be recording that and translating it to her both as Mira and as Monster, which spoilers, but it's been out for a while. So yeah, I got to, right after becoming, going from Evelyn in Resident Evil 7 and her monstrous ending, going to Mira. So I was like, wait, am I the girl who turns into monsters? Okay.
Wow. And you also did voice and motion capture for RD2 in The Lady of the Oldest Profession. Now, can you also tell us about that experience and how was it?
Oh, Red Dead 2 was fun. I mean, they built a huge immersive world, which if you've played that, I'm sure you know. But so I only, had to be there, I think I was like a day or two. But oh gosh, it was fun. So yeah, they're recording your facial stuff at the same time as the words for that one. So I didn't know how my character fit into the world or where she would be or what she would look like. So it was really pretty cool once the game came out to have friends or fans sending me clips and finding my particular lady of the night in Valentine. And they were like, is this you? It sounds like you. I'm like, that sounds like me, all right. And they had somebody, I think Blair Beveridge followed her and recorded like every line I said as you harass her through the town, which was amazing. So thank you, Blair, for that. But what I thought was really cool is that a couple times when I've streamed with people, finding her again, like Abraham Lincoln, Dan Hutton did a stream that we found her and chased her again. And she looked different. Like I once I was a larger woman, and another time I was a very skinny lady with different attire. So, I kind of love that they switch it up all the time in the game and have that ability. So, go art.
Wow. Now now quick question here. Now for the motion capture, is the one that they will surround you with a bunch of cameras and they will put you like dots all over? Yes.
So if you're doing motion capture and they're getting your whole body performance, kind of like a theater in the round, you'll have the spandex suit and the dots. You may or may not have anything on your face depending on if they're recording it, and you may or not have a helmet with a camera depending on if they're recording you, or your playable character or anything. And for motion capture, emotion, it would be just the helmet. So I could just wear my regular clothes, but have the helmet on and the dots on my face for them to capture facial stuff. And for Red Dead Redemption 2, it was regular clothes in the booth with the helmet.
Wow.
So they would get both the facial and the voice at the same time. So there's a lot of niche areas in this. And then voiceover, we're just in the booth with the mic.
Yeah, and I think it's like pretty much like magical, right? I mean, if we see games like I don't know, like 20 years ago from the ones right now, there's like this huge difference, and the fact that they will animate like your movements and everything, it's pretty much like a work of art. Yeah.
It's wild. Somebody's saying they love tall women. Hey, petite ladies are pretty cool too.
Now tell me how it feels wearing a suit for motion capture for the first time, and could you tell us a funny story when you were doing an motion capture?
Sure. Let's see. It feels tight. I mean, there's spandex, and you're super velcroed in there. So hugs get awkward because you like velcro onto people.
Yeah.
Funny story. I guess I was recording one for a Barbie vlog episode, and another character and I were both pregnant at the time with our babies, and so we had not Barbie-esque bellies, but they can just take those away in post. So, the magic of motion capture. That was pretty funny. Some pictures were quite.
Wow. And when you wear the suit, is it hot? Like you actually were gonna? Because I would guess you would start to like sweat a lot.
You can get a sweat. Most of them kind of have like mesh vents under the arms and things. Strategic venting. So for the most part, they're okay, and they keep the bombs pretty cold, specifically for that, probably for the actors and the lights and things. So I haven't had too much of a problem. A couple times we'll get some sweaty. I'm sure they wash them between uses. But I don't do the heavy stunts. Some of the people who do, amazing heavy stunts, they are probably just sweating buckets, probably. I mean,
wow.
One must.
Now, is it difficult to do motion capture? I mean, for example, for RE8, I saw the behind the scenes, and I wondered, like, how you prepare to act using, like the Velcro suits and PVC props.
Yeah. You know what it is? It requires an extra level of imagination, which
absolutely.
All actors have anyway, but we don't, I think after the age of 6, have to use it quite so much. And I think it was a really fun challenge. I feel like the first day that I was on the RE7 set and we did like a big group thing, I initially had that thing of like, we look ridiculous. It's gonna be scary. And sometimes the sides you have don't necessarily make sense yet because you're getting them in pieces, and you don't know how it goes together as a story, and you're like, what am I saying? Okay. So you're kind of just being like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to commit, and I'm going to trust this team and this amazing creative team, these amazing directors, and my fellow cast, and seeing them, the other cast, start to act and just be so in it. Just as you would on any film set, like just 1,000% committed, and yet not have the benefit of wardrobe and makeup and props and a set. That it was just like, I gotta level up my game. Let's do this.
Absolutely.
So, you rise to the occasion.
Of course, but I mean, at some point you will be fooling around, playing around a little bit, right? I mean, whenever like.
Oh, there's plenty of comedy for surezies.
For example,
any horror film or any mocap set,
right? I mean, I was thinking, if I were wearing like a Velcro suit, I would be like jumping around everyone, just to get attached and stuff like that.
You would. It's embarrassing to rip off on occasion, and and if you lose the little balls in specific places, it can be a pain in the butt, and you get yelled at for having to put them back on and take time. So you do it like once, and then you're like, I'll be good.
Yeah, of course. Now, tell me, how did Resident Evil 7 happen? I mean, how did you got the role, and what was your reaction when you knew that your audition was for a Resident Evil game?
I never knew that it was for Resident Evil until after I got the role and was at a table read.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't have known until the game came out. Quite honestly, the cast had been working on it already for a year. I came in late in the process for that one. Because Evelyn's not a huge character in that. She's more of a reveal in the bits and stuff, the glue around it.
Yeah.
And so I remember one of the writers or somebody let slip, was saying something as they described the scene before we read it about Umbrella Corp, and there was a little bit of like, wait, what? What did they say?
Yeah, of course.
Resident Evil?
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, well, yes, but remember you're still under NDA, so it's not like we could say anything outside of that room to anybody for a year plus until it came out. I think I remember walking around Comic-Con and seeing like the makeup of the baker's house and like somebody dressed up like Evelyn and me wanting so badly like, you're me! And I couldn't say anything. I just kind of took like creepy pictures with her in the background, like,
yeah, that's me, right? Wow.
Because it hadn't been announced yet, like that we were part of it, or exactly, it hadn't quite come out.
Yeah.
But goes to the territory. We keep our lips sealed until we're allowed to share the news, because they know how to roll out a game. They've done this before.
Yeah.
But how did I get the news? I got the news. I think I've shared this before in interviews, but I got the call to audition because my name had been put forward. They were looking for specifically a very small person, and I'm 5 feet tall, to play this child. But they needed an adult because of the content and things is scary, and you don't really want kids saying some of that stuff. And so, cue me. But my friend America Young, who is an amazing director and stunt woman and actress, directing TV all the time now, put my name forward. And I will forever be grateful to her. And they ended up calling me like within the hour of when I'd had my first baby in the hospital. Yeah. And I didn't think I thought it was my family calling, my aunt. And I answered and got a little surprise. I was excited to audition for a big game, but I didn't think I could go in the next day. But luckily they were parents and wonderful and gave me like a 2-week break and were like, see you then. So yeah, I got to go in and audition with my newborn in tow.
Wow.
And I thought I was horrible. I thought I completely bombed, but I got the call before I even got home that I booked that one. So it was a little like, oh, I'm so bad in the car, followed by, oh, someone's calling. Hello? What? So lots of roller coaster emotions.
Yeah, of course. Wow. Now, quick question here. Now that you mentioned that you had to keep the secret here. Now, is it really? I mean, I would bet. I mean, I'm super sure that it's kind of hard to say when you see like a lot of hype going on and people excited and everything. I mean, how you deal with this emotion that you know, but you actually can't say until the release date.
They're pretty good about putting the fear of God in you.
Okay. Okay. Like a wet dog fear.
It's just part of the territory. We're professionals. We've done it before.
Of course.
But it used to be that they just would never tell you what you were working on, and then that you'd get the call the day a game came out from your agent, like, oh, congrats, your game's out. And you're like, awesome. Which one was it? Yeah. And that happened to me for Grand Theft Auto 5. I was like, oh, cool. What game? What did I play in it? That was like a year and a half ago. Who was it? Like, wow. So I appreciate now that usually you're getting looped in ahead of time now, but just one of the weird perks of the job. You keep things under wraps until it's time to start the party.
Yeah, of course. Now, did you know you were going to play as Evelyn at the beginning, or is it something you know later in the process? And did you know how she looked like before the game release?
In 7 or in 8?
And 7.
In 7. I knew the name of the character, and I knew her basic background as a child. I knew like her core drive and things in the bio. I didn't know. I don't know if I knew that she was manufactured or anything. In the initial audition, anyway. So you get kind of like a mock-up drawing, the early art at least, and it's probably not that early because they've been working with these characters for years by the time actors come on board. But a sketch or so, and you get some backstory, and you make a decision, and you go in and let the director guide and play.
Wow. And what did you enjoy the most while doing the voice acting and motion capture for Evelyn?
For Evelyn, the cast was so fun to be around, and the crew.
Yeah,
It was a really, really great team, which I've just blown away with this particular team, and getting to work with them again has been wonderful. But as her, I was surprised with how much I empathized with I really locked into her need for a family and wanting that, probably because I had just had my first baby, and that was a very raw emotion anyway for me.
Yeah.
You need this. So I was surprised that this admittedly not good guy character was so relatable on some level. But I think all villains kind of need to be, because you're never the villain of your own story.
Yeah, of course. And you know, also like the villain will have to I mean, at least from what I think, that they will do bad things, but in their heads they will think that it's the good thing, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, if they didn't have like a reason to and be like, I'm the villain and that's it, you will be like, okay, but why, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's so much more interesting and realistic, because people in the world that we think of as villains are 1,000%, you know, sure in their minds that they're doing, you know, that they're the hero, that they're doing what's right. So it's a weird quirk of human nature, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I have a funny question here. Now, how would you imagine Evelyn spends her free time at the Bakers?
Her free time at the Bakers. Does she have a lot of free time? I mean, she's working really hard to build that family. And she's aging so rapidly. Oh, God. I mean, it probably changes as she gets older and she's down to, like, knitting or something. I imagine that she's trying to fit the, like, stereotypical family mold, like, to get them to do family things. Like, families go on picnics. We should do a picnic. We're doing a picnic.
Okay.
You know, or whatever, like, it happens to get in her head that day, whether it's families have birthday parties and they, you know, Marguerite better bake me a cake, you know, or whatever it is. Yeah. I feel like she would probably be trying to force/puppet them into creating that family and that experience that she wants so badly.
Wow. And do you think Evelyn would have liked to play with Angie?
Yes. I think, you know what's crazy, and I really hadn't thought about this, but I think Angie could have solved Evelyn in a way.
Okay.
If Evelyn had a symbiote character that needed her as much as she needed it, if she had this other piece that would never leave her, she might have felt a lot more whole, and you might not have had all the problems we had in 7. So would it have been a less fun game? Maybe. Would it have been an amazing comedy hour? Probably. I think they oddly kind of could be each other's puzzle pieces in a weird way. They kind of fill what each one needs.
Wow.
Ish.
Now talking about Angie, what was your inspiration to come up with the voice, and was it easy to do?
Easy? I mean, she's not that far from my typical. So yes and no. I mean, there's so many cool scary dolls out there in the the world of stories. So there's plenty of inspiration that even if I didn't research it or watch it again, I'm sure it's just in my blood. From seeing them over the years. So probably got inspired by some without even thinking of it. But I just made a decision for what I thought she might sound like that could be conceivably intimidating and eerie, but a little cute, a little porcelain, a little maybe breakable, but maybe she'll break you. And I just made a choice and went in, and then tried to stay flexible as Steve, the director, would, scooch me one way or the other, play, and until he and Capcom found something that they were like, yes, that one.
That's one.
And we found her voice. So it was a team effort, but I wouldn't say hard. It's weird. It's not. I wouldn't say anybody could do it, but anybody who completely gets rid of their inhibitions and has some vocal understanding could probably come close.
Wow. And did you have to do part of the voice acting for Resident Evil 8 at home due to COVID? And if you did, how did you manage to do it?
I did not. I have a booth here, and I do some recordings. It's over there on the wall, hidden.
That's so cool.
I've done lots of shows and things here during lockdown, and been thankful to be able to work on those when they've come my way. But for this, again, the producer is just a superwoman, but we were able to film safely because the cool thing about mocap, you don't have to be right next to the other actors. You can be 30, 50 feet away and they can scoot you closer, right, in post. So I was able to do the scene with Todd, with Evelyn, and he's way over there. And he had his mask on if I was talking, or, if whoever they were filming. And then the one time we both had our masks off, he's way over there, I'm way over here. We both got tested all the time while filming that section. And, the crew is far away with masks on and shields and gloves. And it was like safety precaution extraordinaire. I really appreciated that they made everybody feel quite safe for that one. And was thankful that we got to do it. I mean, you missed out on the like camaraderie that I love about sets, that everybody loves about sets, but because you couldn't just chat and hang afterwards, you're kind of in your little cubby.
Yeah, of course.
But lunch wasn't as fun. But the actual, it was great to film. And then the voiceover sessions, there were a number of COVID compliant studios in the area, which is great, that could do, because you're the only person in the booth. They're able to, have time between to sanitize and do the filters and get the job done safely. I mean, most of the team was directing from across the sea and batching in, but go technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was your first reaction when you saw the design, the model design and everything of Angie?
Oh, when I saw the first, I don't know if I saw her finished stuff until it started coming out, or they started really like leaking teasers and things from Capcom. I saw, different phases of it, and every time I was just blown away by the level of detail and thought put into it. So I just thought she looked cooler and cooler every time. Yeah. I remember seeing when they actually scaled her down to where she'd be when we were doing the Four Lords scene in the beginning. I was like, oh, I'm real little. Okay. And I was like, and watching them all perform, it was amazing. But no, I loved her. I loved her right away. It was love at first sight. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when I first played the game and everything, I remember when I first saw Angie, I was like, at some point we're gonna have this boss fight, and then when you actually have it, like the whole process of the whole, the whole baby and then the dolls and everything, I was just at some point just going crazy. Like I can't. This is because I was playing with my headphones. I mean, normally I will play with because I have like a stereo sound, but that time I was like, no, I want to play with the headphones because I played 7 on headphones. I want to keep going. But that one, at some point, I was just taking them off for a bit, and I was like, no, this is too much. And like I would say that your character, I think, is like the scariest of the whole game hands on. Definitely.
Hey, she's not very good at hide and go seek. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but the whole baby scene. I mean, that's like the. I mean, when you have that scene with the baby and everything dark and just running and around. I mean, when I saw that you had this session with Nicole Tompkins and she was actually screaming, I was like, yeah, I totally relate to that. I mean, I was screaming pretty much kind of the same, but I was just like taking my headphones and be like, okay, and my dogs were looking at me like, dude, what's going on?
I loved hearing that from people. I love that, they tried something different with that section of the game and made it this old school, take your time, thrill, build the suspense kind of flavor. And it's not the same as you find throughout the rest of not only the Village but other games, and it's kind of delicious to have it in there. I don't know, and I've loved the response of people reacting to it. I had a little too much fun on Day's Twitch because I knew she was playing that section and was going to have me over to sit there with her doing it, and I came early without telling her, and had coordinated with her fiance to like sneak me into the gaming room. And I started just playing the baby sounds really loud on my phone, and she was like, "What is that? Where's that coming from?" And then I did a jump scare out at her, and she lost it. But it was it was so mean. I shouldn't have done that, but it was amazing.
Yeah, and I mean like the whole, I mean that kind of boss fight and everything, the fact that you don't have weapons, it makes you feel like you pretty much it makes you feel horrible because you're running away from that baby, and then at some point I was like, I want to shoot him right now because this is getting crazy. But yeah, you will get like this super vulnerable emotion, and yeah, I mean for me personally, I would say that was like one of the moments in which I was like, I just can't. This is too much. But definitely. Definitely.
I think it was so smart of Capcom. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like a palate cleanser, and it just really hit on people's your very basic survival human instincts. So kudos to them and all the amazing designers who were like, let's just go for something different. I do want to hear how they pitched the guard fetus. I just want to be a fly on the wall who would be like, hang on, I got an idea. Okay, you're in the will. And then
yeah, absolutely. And you know, the other day I was having this conversation with a friend, and I was like, you know what, they should make from now on the whole Resident Evil games like first person, like you actually will feel like from 7 and then 8 and having like this first person feeling. I mean, I would love if they continue with that path for a while.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, most definitely. Now
I might be a little partial to 7 and 8 myself, but
yeah. Now, what other motion capture you did on RE8? Because I heard that you did more than I mean, besides Angie, that you actually did more motion capture on that game.
I did a little bit. I did the a little girl on the bus at the end.
Oh yeah. Mm.
With Adult Rose, and it was kind of fun because Sarah Coates, who plays Marguerite in 7, was also my mother in that.
Oh.
So we were Velcro snuggling on the bus. And I did a doll, another doll, a tack doll in the house. I think that's it. And Evelyn. But I mean, what a treat to get to play all of those in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that at some point we will have like Funko figures from the Resident Evil 7 or 8? Because that would be awesome.
I mean, I am petitioning them. I've tweeted them a couple times.
That would be awesome.
By all means, join me, guys. I would love some Funkos of Angie. I know some people have made and are in various processes of making some amazing Angie dolls. Can't wait to see them all. Some people even have like a 3D printing kit of her body base, and just, oh my gosh. Yeah, so I hope so.
Yeah, I really hope so too, because I mean, that would be amazing. It would be amazing to have like a Funko figure for Angie. That would be really cool.
Right, I'd sign it.
Right? Now, tell me, how hard was it emotionally to play Evelyn and Angie?
Angie is pure id, so she's not terribly hard to play emotionally.
Okay.
She might be more physically challenging, because she hops around a bunch. But, and we weren't sure, like, does she have joints? Does she not have joints? So we played with different ways to do that. Evelyn was tougher emotionally, but I wouldn't say, I mean, it's like a joy sort of tough.
Okay.
This acting thing that we do. So it wasn't the wear you down, oh my God, I did 6 weeks of this crying stuff. Because she's tougher. She's still got that protection, so she's not hard on herself at all yet. She's not aware of the pain she's causing or guilty. So it's more invigorating. I mean, you can be tired at the end of the day, but to get to play these characters, it was more energizing than depleting.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer doing villains?
I prefer working, so whoever.
I mean, of course. Yeah, definitely.
I don't think I have a favorite between villains or not. It's so wonderful to play villains, just because being a tiny little lady looking the way I do, I don't often get to play them on camera. Although, hey, Hollywood, it would be surprising. Hear me out. But vocally I get to. And that is very fun. I look forward to being, I'm just going to go from like this to just full on old lady at some point. I'm just going to try to like keep this going for a while and then just be like wrinkles and gray and just lean into the old lady and do all old lady, all your grandma stuff and your crazy, scary old ladies. Let's do it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now tell me, any advice for upcoming actors? What would you say?
Oh, so much. I would say that there's never been a better time to be a storyteller because of all of our amazing technology now. I mean, you have the ability to make a feature film in your hand if you want.
Yeah.
I shot my directorial debut for a feature film over the course of my actual pregnancy with my husband and I as the leads and the entire production crew. So it's possible. You can tell this. I was in on the first wave of people making web series, 15, 20 years ago. Not quite 20, just getting there, but 15. And it was amazing to see how people initially like patted us on our head, like, you silly people making things for the interwebs. And then slowly started to take us seriously as they saw the content we could create. And people, started getting paid for it. So I would say you have all these opportunities now, all these mediums to get your story out there, all this way to cut your teeth and find your skills so that it's not necessary anymore to have to come to a particular city to start. It is, it might be at some point when you reach a certain level, but you can already build your resume and cut your teeth before you get to any of those places. You can start now. Like, part of me is just so jealous and then also so relieved that I'm not growing up now, because I'd have like a bajillion things on a YouTube channel and half of it would just be mortifying. But, but gosh, I would have tried. So, I would say tell your tales. Start trying, because you learn by doing in this business. And then the other thing would definitely be don't be lazy. Don't be that kid that's like, I just want to be a star. I don't want to have to study, because everyone will hate you, and you need people in this business to like you and to care. And nobody cares about those people. So just do it because you love the journey, because you are never, ever guaranteed to get to a destination in this career. It's not like becoming a firefighter where you train and then you are one. It's like you might pay your bills or you might not, but you might make some amazing art. So just be okay with the journey and learn all you can. And it doesn't mean you have to go to school for it. It means watch all the old films, learn who the directors are, learn the styles, read the plays, just fill yourself with knowledge so that you're never the person that's like, what? What's the union? What's the light? Don't be that person. Just smile, nod, and Google if you don't know. I don't know. It has never been easier to give yourself an education, so do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the other day I was just watching that now you can, because of technology and everything, that you have now the possibility to say, if you want to do like voice acting, you can send your demo everywhere. Oh
yeah, absolutely. I would say even a huge portion of actual working voice actors do not live in major cities. They live wherever the heck they want, and they have a booth, which you can get or make your own. And you audition for things on your own. You're always your own first agent. You will always be your own first agent. You're always going to be your own best agent, probably. But you can submit yourself. You can start doing like Audible books on tape on ACX. You can start, just taking online workshops for voiceover. You can start wherever you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build yourself up until you're ready and you're at the point that you need to come somewhere else.
Yeah, and something that I want to tell you was like the other day I was watching this interview you were having, and then at some point you were saying that on this career, on the career you're having, that it's like the jungle, that there is no specific path, meaning that you will have like a machete and you will be just cutting your way and creating like your own and your own path. And tell us about your upcoming projects. Can you tell us a little bit? Without like spoil anything.
I think most of the stuff you'd probably like to hear is under NDA, but I am constantly trying and telling my tales, and I am excited to hear if my directorial debut for Delicate State is going to make it into some festivals, if there's some final considerations. So, oh gosh, it feels so wonderful.
Wow.
I'm hoping this fall I'll be around at some festivals with it. But you can follow, I put it at delicate_state on Twitter, so we'll announce as we hear. All the things crossed.
Perfect.
And this is the last week of school for kindergarten for my oldest son. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? Almost a year of Zoom and then like 5 weeks of being in school. So, whew,
Oh my god.
we're gonna have ourselves this summer, darn it.
Yeah, of course. Wow. I mean, I would say, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how talented you are. Like all this path you have built until right now, from Evelyn to Angie, now for your upcoming movie. Which, while I was doing the research, I just saw a little bit, but I was just like, oh, that's definitely really interesting. That the fact that you are going to describe. And yeah, from what I can say, and from the comments from everyone that I've been seeing, like all of us are super grateful and super amazed and happy about the work that you're doing. I mean, we would love to continue watching your job. Hopefully in a Resident Evil in a Resident Evil 9. Hopefully, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Please,
Hey,
Capcom, if you're watching this, definitely include her again. That would be really cool. And Funko, get some figures right now. Yeah, and again, thank you so much. All of these amazing comments I've been watching. Also, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll again thank you so much, Paula. Definitely continue rocking, because you are definitely making an amazing job, and for sure you are changing people, and you are making. And the fact that you want to have fun and make everyone happy and everything, that really speaks a lot from the amazing person you are.
Not everyone. So. Some of those people can be miserable. The one guy.
But anyway, thanks everyone. Again, Paula, thank you so super much. I look forward to have another interview anytime soon. And I'll see you in the next one then.
Sounds good. I'll be cheering you on.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.